Here we go. Here we go. What's going on, guys? If you're new here, my name's Ryan.
And I'm Kyle. And today, guys, we are going to be talking about setting this corner up just because it is way too bare. So I was thinking we just throw some plants in here and call it a day. I like ficus plants, so I got them over here. So I was thinking we just throw them over there. Plain and simple, right? Exciting video. But there's something special about the ficus trees. If you look here, you'll see there's things using the ficus trees as a home. So these are Jackson's Chameleons. So they are native to Kenya and Tanzania. But believe it or not, they've made quite an established species in Hawaii as well. So as you can see, this guy is the male here with the 3 horns, and the upset female down below with no horns. So she's just letting him know, leave me alone, and she'll go on her way.
Yeah. So, and these guys are actually down in Florida as well, right? There's little established populations.
I don't know if Jackson's Chameleons are. I know Ocelots Chameleons are the most popular, as well as Vales. But I don't know about Jackson's. I mean, if there are, let me know. I'll definitely want to check them out.
Yeah.
So I have 5 ficus trees here, 5 Jackson's Chameleons. Oh man, you upset her, look. She's a grumpy, shedding female. I love these things so much. And this is another species that really benefits with the South Florida climate. So, especially right now, I mean, ideally they like to be highs of 80, 85, and the lows of 60 to 70. So that's about exactly where we are right now. This whole week's gonna be super nice, so I'm gonna put them outside here. Usually I keep them in the garage. If there's cold snap, or don't worry, I won't do it again. No, I won't say cold snap too much. But if there is, I can put them in the garage, and in the summer I'll definitely be misting them. And over here is a lot more shaded, so they won't get direct sunlight the vast majority of the day. There'll be little pockets of it, so if they do want to bask, they can, but the vast majority will be shaded.
Yeah. And guys, just want to go over, since these are a species that could easily become established down here, I mean, the climate's like perfect for them. We're keeping them outside. You don't want to just throw them in your yard. So in here, there's actually, it's all screened in. It's a lanai around the pool.
Green and gold.
Oh, look at that.
So you don't see them.
Oh, took off. But it's all screened in, so that way they can't escape.
Yeah, I guess we really didn't talk about that. So when I first got them, I'm like, well, I got to get this chameleon cage and that chameleon cage, and they shouldn't be together because they could stress out because of it if they're too close in a small enclosure. But then I was like, well, I kind of got a giant screen enclosure already, so might as well just take advantage of it and set up a bunch of plants and see how they do. Even in the garage, I mean, they've stayed on the plants. So what I'm going to do is set them up over here, and then probably go get 5 more plants. So just make this area giant ficus area, so that they just have a ton of room to get away from each other, but still, you know, have plenty of room to roam around themselves.
Cool, let's start moving them over then.
Yeah, look at her coming down. I've always wanted to get these guys. I've always loved the Jackson's Chameleons, and now being down in Florida and having this in my backyard, I really take advantage of the climate. Let's see if we can check out this male. See, he's basking, look at him. Laying on his side like that, soaking up the sun. Oh, we upset him.
Yeah, he's like, leave me alone.
Where'd you get the spider webs, bud?
And you got another beautiful little girl right here.
Oh, we upset him.
Oh, it's gone away.
Come out.
How's that one doing over there?
He's just working his way down. So what we'll do is we'll go move these, and then we got a sprayer too to mist them for their water, as well as they like humidity and a little drier right now. And we also have crickets. So I'm just gonna try the idea of dusting the crickets and throwing them on here and seeing how well they do.
Yeah, and you miss them what, twice a day?
Yeah, one to 2 times a day. Yeah. Obviously, depending on being outside, I mean, we're gonna start getting into the wet season. So, I mean, sometimes we won't even have to, I guess, mist them anyway. So, just depending on the weather. So, if it's warm and it's dry, then we'll definitely mist them. But if it's warm and rainy, they're good.
Cool. So, where are we gonna set these guys up at?
I already told you, over here.
Let's start doing it, Kyle. Get to work.
What? Come on, girl. I want to keep it a little bit away from the corners just to deter them from going onto the screen itself. That should be just good enough. So what we'll do is we'll kind of bunch them together where they're just touching each other, so they can use it as a little highway, just little I guess outcrops here, but it's not like they're jam-packed together where they're always going to be on top of each other. And again, this is 5 trees here. We're going to get 5 more tomorrow. So now that we got all the trees here, I just want to check this guy out since he's on the end. These guys do stress very easily, so I don't want to mess with them too much and kind of keep him close to the tree so he feels comfortable. But there's such a beautiful coloration between the blue tails and the lime green body to them, and obviously the males with their big horns. If you look down here too, there's another male. You can see how they curl their tail. Can you get in there and see them? Let's see. There it is. So these are the adult males.
And the cool thing about Jacksons is they're actually sexually dimorphic. So you can what that means is by looking at them, you can tell if it's a male or a female. Yes. Males, those horns, and then female, I got one down here, yeah.
You got one there?
There she is. So you can see her. She's a different color, and we'll see if Kyle can get her. She might bite you.
Will she open her mouth?
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to stress
so she's
it too much.
Different color, and as you can see, no horns on her either.
Yep. Yeah, very different. Now, guys, too, the coloration definitely changes as they are chameleons. So usually they'll turn blacker if they're stressed. So it's kind of nice because they'll tell you exactly what they're thinking. So this is 5 plants here. We'll get about 5 more and then extend this, you know, a lot bigger. Because the males are very territorial. That's what the horns are. They ram each other essentially. But this is still a big space. But again, I just want to make sure there's no issues with having multiple males in the same group. And also the females stress with having the males around all the time. So we make it a lot bigger. They have tons of hiding spaces to themselves. So what we're gonna do now is, since they're outside, nice and comfortable, we will first mist everything down. So if they're looking for a drink, they'll get it that way. And then secondly, we'll essentially fill the ficus with crickets. So until the wet season kicks up, we just gotta mist everything down.
Show what you're using for a mister.
So I just got this from Home Depot. It's essentially a chemical sprayer. So if you're using, you know, Roundup or something to kill weeds, but just as easily works with using water for these guys. Whether it be you're misting for bedding, misting the plants, or adding humidity. But these guys, that's how they get their water. They drink off all the leaves. We would just probably use the whole thing. Hopefully once we mist them down, they'll get a drink and then they can come out and bask. So you can see there's a basking spot here, and depending on the time of day, as the sun, you know, the sun's always moving. Well, I guess the earth is always moving around the sun, but the sun moves in the sky during the day, so there'll always be different spots for them to bask on. So it's not like everyone has to go over to that side just to get to the basking area. Mix it all down.
Oh, and this one's already drinking.
Is she?
Yeah.
Female there?
Female, yeah. She got a little nervous to me there.
You done it now, Ryan.
Yeah.
And what's nice too is I was reading about these guys is they can stress if you get crazy storms. So if you get a heavy rain right away, they can actually stress and fall out of the tree. So that's the beauty of the screen, is it actually breaks it up. So it's never this pounding rain, it's always a mist. So even when it does pour here, it's still just a mist on the chameleons. So it's really beneficial in that regard. But apparently they can, I've read reports that they can take as cold as 40 and as hot as 100 and still no effects. Now, obviously that is not ideal, but it kind of just shows that they are relatively hardy species if you set them up correctly. Oh yeah, look at it drinking. Here. Look at that.
Where's she at?
Right here.
Oh.
That's great to see, guys. Because these are imports. They were from Kenya. So it's just nice to see that they're doing well here in captivity. So now that we're all misted up and she is drinking, hopefully the others are, but they blend in so well. Next up, we will dust the crickets and throw them on the trees. And hopefully then we'll gobble them up now.
And what are you dusting the crickets with?
This is mineral, so it's a calcium mineral supplement. And this is for outdoors, so there's no vitamin D, because obviously they'll get that outdoors anyway. So you can see phosphorus free without vitamin D. So if you're keeping stuff indoors, it's beneficial to give them vitamin D. But they get plenty of it. Put this down here. Let's mix this up. All right. So let's see how this works. Hopefully they'll get them. I guess I'll try to put them more in the middle. Crickets can stay on there. What's nice too is with them being dusted, they're a lot easier for the chameleons to see.
You're gonna have so many crickets running around your pool.
I don't care. I got chameleons though, which is cool. Oh, the one I need. No. Oh, she got one. Look. So you're eating it?
I don't know if we're gonna pick it up on the camera.
Right there, look. Beep. Actually, let's see if I can.
She's hunting again.
Boom. Oh my god, this is so good to see. Damn, she is kicking butt. You guys see it? There's one more cricket there. She might get it. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Whack.
Yeah, she does not care about us being here.
No, not at all. So, I gotta say, I'm very happy again for being imports and for being chameleons, which can be pretty fragile.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So, I would say this is quite the success for these guys. I mean, again, they can be fragile. So to see them eating, to see them drinking, to see them flourishing, I mean, this is great sign. So we'll definitely add a lot more here. It's always been a dream of mine to have these guys as pets and also produce them, because they are live-bearing animals. So they're just amazing, that process.
Yeah, and guys, one of the cool things about having them here in captivity is obviously these were wild-caught imports. So there is a demand for these guys in the States. So if we're able to actually produce them here and kind of supplement that demand a little bit, it takes some pressure off of the wild populations. And that's what a lot of conservation is, especially in the pet trade, is reproducing these animals in captivity. So there's no need and no financial incentive to go out there, collect them, and collect hundreds or even thousands of them just to send them overseas, where half of them pretty much die in shipping. So
yeah,
that'd be one benefit.
So that's conservation through commercialization. So if you can produce these animals in captivity, it could even diminish or completely eradicate the demand for pulling these animals out the wild. Because if there's no need to import them, and captive animals are generally much healthier, it could eliminate that stressor, and then the animals are left alone in the wild.
Awesome, guys. Well, if you liked today's video, checking out some amazing outdoor chameleon setup that we're getting established here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.